Continuing on with our seminar, if it's a box and whisker plot or a box plot, notice it's kind of the same as we did with histograms. If it's symmetric, your median is going to be about in the middle, because we said that, and that will be, it'll be kind of, your whiskers will be about the same. If it's negatively skewed, notice your left whisker is going to be longer, because that means more than 50% of your data, well, not more than 50%, but 50% of your data will be to the left of your median. Okay? And if it's positively skewed, your right whisker is going to be longer. That is, you have your data spread out to the right. Now, if we take a look at example 2, we're going to do the same thing we did in example 1. In fact, notice it's the same data set, except we're going to make a box and whisker plot. So let's review how you do that. So let me get rid of our histogram here. And we kind of just do the same thing, but we'll talk about what that means. You go to Functions, we go down to Visualizations, and we click on Box Plot. Okay, and we're going to put in our box plot, which is A again. Notice we don't have to worry about the bin width or anything here. Now, notice a couple things. It automatically excludes outliers. So if you have an outlier, the box plot won't do that. If you want to include the outlier, you just click on that. And notice the offset helps us just look at our data maybe on a number line. I think it defaults to 1. If you make the offset 0, it puts it on the axis. I kind of like that one, but maybe you want to see the numbers. And then you can change the height. If I want my box to be bigger, I just change that number. And that's a preference. It has really nothing to do with their distribution. There it's nice and big. Notice on this one, no surprise, surprise, we have a longer whisker to the left. So when we have a longer whisker to the left, that's negatively distributed. Or not negatively skewed, sorry. Now, when I give you a distribution, and I'm going to ask you to summarize that either with the 5-number summary, move this, or with the mean and standard deviation in a histogram. So here's how this works in a histogram. Remember, we said the mean and median were about the same if it's symmetric. So we're going to use X bar and standard deviation if it's symmetric. Well, if it's not symmetric, I really can't use that because my mean isn't going to be centered. So then I'm going to use my 5-number summary if it's skewed either direction. So let's take a look at example 3 here. And I've already put this data in to save us some time. So let's do that here. And I want to use example 3 there. And I'm going to make my histogram. And when you make your histogram, notice this one, my numbers are a little bit harder to see. So let's talk about that. So I make my histogram first. So I'll go click on Visualizations. And I'll click on histogram. And notice you don't see it. Well, first of all, you don't see it because I didn't put it in the letter. So it's A. And then we're going to go comma. And since I'm going like from, what are we going from 64 to 96? So I'm going to count, I'm going to have each bin be 4. Okay, now this one actually, I must have reset this. Usually you can't see it. So at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to click on your wrench here, and I'm going to click on my wrench, and then I'm concerned about the x-axis. I can always change my y-axis. So if I'm going to go from 64 to 96, let's set my beginning at 60 and my x at 100. And notice I have step 4 in there, so I can see what I'm counting by. And there is my histogram. If I needed to, I could also change the y values, but I can actually read those here. And so that works out nice. And notice it's positively skewed. And that's what I would say here. Since it's positively skewed, I want to use my 5-number summary because it's skewed. If it wasn't skewed, I use the mean and standard deviation. So 5-number summary. I already know my smallest number is 64. So my min is 64. And then I know my max is going to be, what, 94? Yeah. Oh, it's not 64, is it? I can't read. 66. If you go, where the heck did you get 64? You're right. My minimum is 66. My max is 94. Now I want to find my median and my first quartile and my third quartile. And we can use technology to find that. So if I go back to my graph here, remember yesterday we said median. I can type that in. If I can type. There we go. I'm going to do the median of data set A. And it's 74.5. Now I can also find the first quartile without listing them out. You might have noticed that when we did this before. If I click on my functions and I go to statistics, notice it says quartile. I think I have to type in 1 quartile so it knows what to do. So I'm going to type in 1. It's been a while since I've done this, so maybe I'm wrong. And I'll go first quartile. Yes. Of data set A. I could have typed second quartile in there. Whoops, it didn't like that. Maybe it's quartile 1. Let's try that. Quartile. Whoops, now I got too much in there. Keep on making mistakes. Okay. So let's go functions. Probably tells me when I do that. Notice that there's between quartile and quantile. So I'll go quartile 1. Doesn't like that either. What am I doing wrong? There we go. I had to put my comma in there. Quartile 1 is 71. You don't need the parentheses there. And then to find the third quartile, I can just change that 1 to a 3. I could have gone 1, 2, 3 probably. 82. And there we have it. So if we describe the center, okay, there's my 5-number summary. There's my center and my spread. It goes from 66 to 94. Half the data is below 74.5. A fourth of the data is above 82. And a fourth of the data is below 71. That's how we would do that one. Now we're going to take, we'll do this one on the next page.